Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Leaders Impact Lab. Today, we're talking about, I'm going to share with you 3 strategies that are going to help you enhance initiative and innovation on your team. So a little bit about me and a little bit about what we do here. My name's Melissa. I'm an executive coach and a management consultant. And what I do every day is I work with leaders such as yourself, and I help them build up their influence as well as create self-managed teams. So that looks like, on my part, mostly coaching, a little bit of consulting, and some training. And joining me today is Kelsey-Ann Balcom. Kelsey-Ann is my employee, and she brings in the employee perspective in the Impact Lab, the Leaders Impact Lab. The reason that I host these sessions every Tuesday is to bring in some new perspective. It's the ability to go explore leadership challenges, the real deal, the things that we're actually experiencing on the ground to gain new perspective, and for you to walk away a few nuggets, a few new things that you can start implementing and start getting wins today. I'm all about translating that really great knowledge that you have about leadership into something that is practical, that will give you the results that you're craving, the results that you're seeking today. I don't want you to just put that knowledge on the shelf and have it handy, but actually be living it. So that creates a lot of alignment, and that also increases your influence and helps you get what you're actually looking for, which is getting out of the weeds, getting out of the operations, having the ability to focus on the strategy, being able to coach your employees, not to manage them. So Kelsey-Ann, today we're talking about increasing innovation and increasing initiative on your team. So now Kelsey-Ann, just, full disclosure here, when we are coming on this live, she has no idea what I'm going to share, I'm going to do. So just your first thoughts when it comes to taking initiative and taking innovation. And if it helps, let's define what these things are. When we, these are words that we throw around. What do they mean? So when we talk about taking initiative, we're talking about employees that are stepping up and doing the things without being asked, and even doing things that may not be part of their roles and responsibilities, but they're stepping to that next level and taking it on and getting it done. Okay, so that's what we mean by initiative. When we're talking about innovation, that means rethinking how we're doing things and doing something new. Okay, so innovation can be as simple as just an internal process that we're doing, or the way that we might be operating as a team. So innovating our communication, our processes, or we could be innovating something bigger, like our products, the way that we deliver to clients, our strategy, our overall direction where we're heading. Okay, so innovation can be small or it can be really big and impactful, from the ground to the strategy. So what are your first thoughts, Kelsey-Ann, in terms of, as an employee, when you think about taking initiative or being innovative, what comes up for you? And this is a very open-ended question.
Yes.
No wrong answer. And for you listening as well, I'm throwing that question to you. So if you're watching right now, 1, say hi. I'd love to know who's listening. And 2, I'd love to hear your thoughts about employee initiative and employee innovation.
So as an employee, I guess what comes to my mind is kind of, there's 2 feelings of like excitement, like, because I feel like I am kind of that person that is innovative, and that is, oh my goodness, innovative
Initiative
and
taking.
initiative. I was like, what's the other I word? Who takes initiative. But then on the other hand, I'm also a person, I feel that there's kind of fear or like an internal confidence piece that, oh crap, if I take initiative and I do it wrong, what does that mean for me? What does that mean for the company? And what does that mean for the overall bigger picture? So I guess as an employee who wants to take initiative, there's always that internal battle of, can I do it enough that is going to pass, or is it like, and we'll work through it, or is it just like, okay, no, I can't do it and just check out. So that's kind of what I leave you as from an employee perspective.
Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. So there is a lot of excitement, and you might be talking to your employees about taking initiative, about stepping up, about taking ownership, about doing something different, and you can see the excitement, right? And you think, my job is done. We're excited. We're good to go. And yet there is that internal struggle about, fear of failure, fear of not doing it good enough, or failing. And what does it mean? What does it mean to me? What does it mean to my position? What will it mean in terms of my social standing? How are others going to see me? So this is about social capital. When it comes to fear, employees, and social capital is really important. How you're being seen, how much power and influence you hold in this place. So that is nothing to discount. Okay, so that's something to consider. What will it mean in terms of how I'm seen by my employer or my manager or my leader? What will it mean for the company? What will it mean for my team? So there's many levels of consequences that can come with taking a risk. Because if we're taking initiative, we're taking a risk. And if we're innovating, we're taking a risk. So we're asking employees to take a risk, big or small. When it comes to risks, our brain wants to shine a spotlight and to take this very small risk and blow it out of proportion. It leaves people frozen. It triggers the fight or flight. I'm going to fight you against this. We shouldn't do anything different. Don't fix it if it's not broken. We've been doing this way forever. It's been working. Right? Fighting you against this change. Or I'm just going to flee. I'm just going to tell you what you want to hear and not do it. Or I'm going to be the deer in the headlights, completely frozen. So how can we create an environment to enhance? If we have an initiative and innovation, that's great. How can we get more of it? So these 3 strategies is going to help you get to the next level. And if you are struggling to get initiative and innovation, this will start creating the groundwork for you to get some of it, to turn that corner. And there's 3 really important brain talents that I'm going to share with you today that I want you to think about, and you can write these down. Okay, if you're joining me today, grab a pen and paper. You're going to write down these strategies. Risk tolerance. Okay, we just talked about the fact that people will need to take risk, big or small. We're going to need to help them build up this risk tolerance. First brain talent. The second brain talent is imagination. In order to be able to take initiative and be innovative, we need to think outside the box. We need to think about something new. We need to imagine solutions or opportunities that don't quite exist yet. So we need to be able to create these in our minds. And finally, we're going to need a whole lot of resilience. Because even if we have risk tolerance, we are going to fail forward. We're going to try something new and it's not going to work out, not in the way we intended it.
Mhm.
And yet we're going to have to bounce back and keep doing it. Because when it comes to doing something different, it's not just I will do something different once and then it's done. You know, change is not a one event. It's a phase. It's a phase that will require some resilience to try that something new, to kind of fail a little bit, to succeed a little bit, fail a little bit, and then try it again. And then try it again. And boom, this time you're going to fail completely, right? Fall flat on your face. And you're going to have to learn from it and try it again. So we're going to need some resilience.
I have a question on those brain talents.
Yeah.
I almost see it as like you're almost it's almost like times two, because you're managing yourself as the leader, but you're also managing your team or your each individual employee on each of these brain talents. And then your interaction between each other during this process too, which is really challenging, I would assume.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We can't ask anyone to, develop something that we're not already modeling for them. So it is twofold,
Mhm,
managing yourself, leading yourself in order to lead them.
mhm.
So these brain talents, these three brain talents are tied to something called optimism. Optimism is one of the EQ competencies, one of the 8. All right, so we'll talk a little bit more about EQ, but I want to take from these 3 brain talents and move that into what would it look like? How can you help your team build up these brain talents? So let's start with risk tolerance. How can you build up risk tolerance on your team? I'm gonna give you a little bit of a challenge here, Kelsey. What's one way you think we can build up risk tolerance?
Um, I want to say like debriefing.
Okay, good. Yes, that that's part of what I'm about to share.
Okay. So, and debriefing meaning we do something as a team. There's some wins, there's some fails, there's some like in betweens, but we kind of look at everything, put it out on the table, and then we decide what are we, what our best practices, what are we going to continue, what are we going to change. We look at everything kind of without judgment, and we're able to suss everything out.
Yeah. So strategy number 1 is to focus on experiments and learning. And debriefing is part of how you consolidate that learning. So we really need to change the way that we're looking at work and we're looking at success and that we're looking at failure. So risk tolerance is especially hard for perfectionists because we measure success by perfection. And when you're doing something new and when you're trying and when you're stepping up and you're taking initiative or you're doing something new in terms of innovating, it's not going to be perfect. There will always be a rough first draft before you can work towards mastery. So we need to redefine failure and focus on learning. And one of the ways we can do that is how Kelsey Ann just mentioned, debriefs. A debrief that's focused on learning. What's happened? What can we learn from this? What do we want to do with these new insights? And how can we bring this into tomorrow? And when the focus is learning rather than wins and perfection, it makes it a win to fail forward, to learn, to work towards mastery. So there's a difference between being the master or working towards mastery. And if we as the leader are focusing on learning and mastering, it creates that environment where people can feel comfortable putting their fails on the table and learning from them. And we can actually start celebrating those insights, those learnings. So now doing it perfect is no longer the standard to be celebrated, but learning every day as we're working through things is the standard for success.
Mhm.
Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense completely.
So focus on experiment and learning. Everything's an experiment.
And I think for the employee taking those actions and thinking about them as learnings versus potential failures, it's like, okay, I always feel like we're the hardest judges on ourselves. So to think of it like, okay, yes, I failed at that task, but I didn't really fail. I didn't accomplish what I wanted to, but I got learnings from it. So it was a win, right?
Mhm.
I'm either going to do it differently. I'm going to do it whatever that particular is. So I like that kind of spin of taking the learning and just kind of leaving that almost that internal judgment about that action aside.
This is something that I do intentionally, and I don't know if you've picked up on it, Kelsey Ann, but one of the things that I do is when you do want to take initiative or you do want to do something different, I tell you to go do it.
Mhm.
And I just say, let's reconvene and let me know how that worked out. So try it and let's learn from it. Let's see
Mhm.
what we can take away from this experiment.
Mhm.
And I make it okay to take. So I have a good sense as a leader of what can we experiment with and what is more critical that we may not want to be taking
Mhm.
too much risk on. So that is for me as a leader, creating those parameters about what I'm ready to experiment with.
Mhm.
So that risk tolerance has to come from the leader first.
Mhm.
Now, I am a perfectionist at heart. Okay. I am a recovering perfectionist. So this is hard for me. From what I've observed, Kelsey Ann, you also have, a streak of
Type A, yep.
perfectionism, and you don't like to do anything unless you know that you can do it fully
Mhm.
or perfectly.
Mhm.
And that's the type of thinking that keeps us from actually taking initiative and performance and innovate. So as much as we love the perfectionist and they do a great job, we also have to help them reframe how they're viewing failure and success.
Mhm.
All right. So that's risk tolerance. Strategy number 1, focus on experiment and learning. Second, we're going to focus on this little thing called imagination. And we do not have enough imagination in the workplace because we don't have space. Okay, so strategy number 2 is creating the space for imagination. What might creating space for imagination look like?
Um, it might mean like maybe like a brainstorming time block, that it's designated time to make space, but it's not necessarily like you have a plan, but you're not, okay, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to get to P. It's okay, this is the time that I'm going to take to be imaginative about P.
Yeah. And there's something that we do in brainstorming. There's really a big fault here. Okay. We all do it as leaders, especially people who really are good at converging. Okay. Meaning bringing things together, making decisions, judging, finding the right thing, is when we say something like, let's brainstorm. Okay, even, you can imagine I have a board, let's brainstorm. Okay, you have an idea. Okay, let's hear it. That's not going to work. We've tried that before. But what about you? Maybe. Nobody else?
You're shooting everything down before, now as an employee, I don't want to put my hand up. You're going to shoot it down. It's not going to be good enough.
Because I'm looking for a perfect answer.
Right.
There's no perfect answers when you're imagining.
Right.
Right. That's also like part of the risk tolerance. So when it comes to imagination, what you want to do is create that space where we're diverging. Okay. We're doing this. We're not doing that. We're not converging yet. We're just diverging. We're putting things on the table. We're creating space for imagination to move. And sometimes that means putting some crazy ideas on the board that are not realistic, reasonable, but it doesn't matter at this time, because you might put an idea on the table that's completely out of this world, never would work in a million years. However, this idea might inspire the right next idea. Or maybe this will lead to this crazy idea, will lead to this crazy idea, will lead to this brilliant idea that never would we have arrived there if we weren't ready to delve into crazy ideas. And as an employee, it feels incredibly difficult to put out something that doesn't make sense. So we're going to need a lot of trust, a lot of openness, and a lot of willingness in this environment to have some imagination. So when we are, saying, give me ideas and stop, it's almost like we're driving a car, right? We're moving, give me ideas, give me ideas. No, that's not going to work. Pressing on the gas, pressing on the brakes, and it creates this tension. So what we want to be able to do is just press on the gas. Yes, 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 yes. Put all the ideas on the board. We're not saying, yes, this is the idea. We're saying, let's just put the ideas on the board and see what else it inspires. And then choose a different time to assess the ideas. So what ideas here can we work with? What makes sense here? What are potentials? And then you can judge and arrive at the right idea and then make a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about planning. Don't worry about making a choice. Don't even worry about judging the ideas right now. Just put them on the board.
I like that idea. As an employee, like that to me sounds so much more liberating, more expansive and open than to just think of it as we're going to share ideas versus we're going to share and then we're going to have to make a decision, right? Like I like the idea of making that space and just saying, okay, no, we have a half an hour, we have an hour, whatever that time block is, to just for possibility.
Possibility.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I recall, as we're talking about this, a specific instance where I did this with a team. And at the beginning, all of the ideas that they were giving were all very, 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 very risk managed. Here I'm asking for imagination, and they're thinking small potatoes, like, oh, we could add a phone here, or we could ask Jane to also do this piece, or we could like very, like us think big, bigger, bigger, bigger. Go to the place that's unrealistic. And by the time we had done the session, they had a completely different perspective on what was possible. And yes, there were lots of crazy ideas on the table, like, you know, working in Florida for 6 months and moving the whole team there, right? Okay, we're likely not going to do that, but that actually inspired other ideas. There was a lot of excitement, a lot of motivation leaving that session.
And I would also assume that those employees felt like they were a part of those decisions. Even if their decision wasn't chosen, they're still part of that team moving the company forward.
Yeah. So yes, and you focus on the yes and when it comes to imagination. I want to give you a little bit more information here when it comes to creative thinking and problem solving, because this is going to help you understand a little bit more about why you would want to leave space for imagination. We know that when we are looking at problems, that there is no, the solution is not within what we already know. So we need to create a new solution. The best way to help your brain generate those new insights is to focus on the problem. So you kind of orient yourself to what is the situation? What is this problem? What is it that I need to do here? And you walk away and you create space. Now, in this walking away, what you want to be doing is not trying to think through the problem. You want to do exactly the opposite. You want to let it go. You want to keep your mind active. So this is, engaging in an activity where you're still going to, your mind is still going to be moving, but not an activity that's going to take over your whole mind. So that might mean like, taking a walk, for example. This could be like many different things for many different people, but let's just use taking a walk. So I'm taking a walk, I'm still aware, I still need to look out for cars, I still need to be engaged, but it's not an activity that's taking the whole of my brain.
Mhm.
And what's happening in the background is that problem that I just looked at is still moving.
Percolating? Yeah.
Even if I'm not consciously trying to make my brain do anything. And then when you come back to the table and look at the problem, all of a sudden, taking a shower, that's where it happens for me. And I can't figure it out. I go take a shower and boom, 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 boom. That's what happens when you allow the space to imagine, to explore, to have fun. Are we good with imagination?
Yes.
I would say it's really hard because it feels like a waste of time, but my friend, it is not. If you truly want someone to take initiative or to innovate, they will need the time for imagination. And if you want things to stay the same, then don't worry about it. So finally, let's talk about resilience. Building up resilience. What helps you, Kelsey Ann, be more resilient?
I think conversations with you as my leader and kind of talking through some of those tries. Okay, like okay, let's try it this way. Okay, it didn't work. Okay, like let's like mini debriefs, but just kind of unpacking, I guess, of trying to figure out, okay, A, B, and C went well, but D, like we gotta work on D. And also understanding, and you've really helped me um, reframe in my mind, the first pancake is always going to be not the best pancake. We're gonna have to make more pancakes to get better pancakes. And I'm always a person that burns my pancakes. So like learning to, control the temperature while making that pancake. Like there's multiple things that have to go on to make that perfect pancake. So knowing and expecting, you have the expectation that first pancake's not going to be perfect. So when I present a non-perfect pancake to you, I don't feel, oh crap, I'm giving Melissa something that's not done because, oh right, this is what she expected, a non-perfect pancake.
So when you're presenting the non-perfect pancake and we're looking at it together, we are looking at what needs to be adjusted. But what else are we looking at?
I guess we're also looking at where we were and then where we're going in that, did that pancake move the business forward? Did it take a step back? Like, where does this leave us? Where does this pancake leave us?
Yeah. And what was good about this pancake? Because if I'm asking you to do a first pancake and then a second pancake, you need to know what was right about the first one in order to take everything that was right and make sure that it's that same rightness is in the second pancake. And knowing what's right helps build a platform for resilience. Okay. So number 3, the third strategy is celebrating progress and celebrating what's right. Because when I know what I did right, I have something to anchor to. And a platform to build my next step on. If all I'm hearing is all the things that went wrong or all the things that need to be improved with this thing that I just took initiative on, or this new thing that I'm trying out to innovate, I don't feel very confident.
No. I'm not going to want to do it again. I don't want to show you a pancake if you're not gonna, you're not
I didn't
gonna
do anything right.
crap,
Everything is wrong, and you want me to do it again? Are you serious? So what can you celebrate? And it's in the little things, and it's the super specific things. Good job does not cut it.
It popped into my head, and I think it's Brené Brown, and she celebrates. I think they in her company they call it SFD, like the shitty first draft. That they celebrate those. They make it a point to celebrate those shitty first drafts, because without those shitty first drafts, there is no big expansive idea or whatever it is. And I think it was a podcast little snippet that I heard, and it was her, Adam Grant, and Simon Sinek speaking about kind of those shitty first drafts. and how they are build resilience. So that just kind of popped into my head as you said that.
Yeah, exactly that. So in what ways can you celebrate progress and very like lived sense of it for us in my company? It's we do a lot of retrospectives. We do a
Mm,
lot of quick reviews. Okay. I say we a lot. This is not 40 hours a week, but at least once a week, we're going to review things. That sometimes means a 5-minute phone call.
mhm,
Hey, I know you were working on X today. That's new for you. Tell me about what happened. What went right? What did you like about it? What went wrong? What would you like to do differently? And celebrate everything that went right within that conversation. Acknowledge. You're laughing. You have
I'm laughing
recollections
because
of
when I
this.
realize these strategies, you're using them on me and I don't even know it. It's so funny. But it doesn't, they feel good to have them as an employee. They don't feel I've been micromanaged in previous jobs, so it doesn't feel like micromanaging. You give me lots of independence and ability and confidence to make those decisions, but the reassurance that you're there with me to bring it from like great to like better and best, but we're going to have to go through those rough drafts to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the recalling, like I share a lot about how my shitty first drafts were.
Yes.
And what you're doing right that I wish I was doing right, but it took me a long time to figure out.
Yeah.
Or how I build up those skills. So there's a little bit of mentoring there that happens.
Absolutely.
All right. So I'm leaving you today with 3 strategies in order to enhance initiative and innovation on your team. Again, just to recap what these 3 strategies are, and I'm hoping that you took lots of notes. You're bringing some of these nuggets in. This was a fantastic Leaders Impact Lab. I had so much fun today.
I did too.
So 1, focus on experiments and learning. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, we're going to create space for imagination. And number 3, we're going to celebrate progress. Okay, not wins. We're going to celebrate progress and what's right. And as you start using these 3 strategies, people will feel safe and they will feel excited and they will take action. They will have the courage to take action on those initiatives and that innovation.
Mhm.
If you are currently in a culture where these 3 strategies are not being practiced at all, it's going to be weird. Okay, so this is where your own risk tolerance and will come into play, is to start implementing it little pieces at a time and do it consistently until people start trusting that this is how you are operating and these are safe spaces to take initiative and to innovate.
Mhm.
Just saying these words are not enough. Just saying this is what I expect from you is not enough. And I have walked into too many places that have, initiative and innovation on the wall, and yet people are not doing it because there are other norms, other unspoken norms, unspoken values that we are living in this environment that's creating a culture that's not coherent. These things.
Mhm.
So I'm giving you 3 strategies that's going to help close that gap and bring you closer to being able to practice these on a daily basis.
Mhm.
If you like the content of today's video and you want to know more about how you're going to practice your optimism, and how you can lead your employees through taking initiative, building up their innovation skills, and leading them through change, because that's really what we're doing. We're leading people through change. And when it comes to change, there's a lot of emotions that come up. Tomorrow, I'm going to do a video about navigating the emotions of change. So how do you do this? Emotional intelligence. Your EQ scores and your EQ competencies are what's going to be the difference maker here. And I have a great opportunity. I actually have an 8-week program, a leadership development program that's focused on developing those really important EQ, emotional intelligence competencies. It's an intensive 8 weeks. It includes 2 one-on-ones. It includes six group sessions, an assessment. So we assess your EQ competencies. You're going to get your EQ leadership profile before and after. So you can see the difference when you start and your return on investment. So you don't just have the live sense of the results, but also the black and white. Here's what changed. And if you apply today to be part of this program, you're going to get an EQ, an emotional mastery toolkit. So you have to apply by the end of today. Applying means booking a consult. Booking a consult doesn't mean you're in the program. Booking a consult means we're going to talk about if this is a good fit for you. Mm-hmm. So if this is a good fit for you, you will be qualified to also receive your emotional mastery toolkit. That includes your EQ coaching card. So this is a tool that you're going to use for yourself through the program, but this is also a tool that you can use for coaching your employees and coaching your team. You're going to get the Practicing Emotional Intelligence booklet. This is a great little booklet to share. It's very easy to read. Some really important facts and concepts about emotional intelligence and the practice, not just the concept, but the practice of emotional intelligence. My clients love to leave this in the break room, and they love to leave this for their employees to read and getting the conversation started, right? This is the first step to changing culture. Talk about these things. You're going to get the Plutchik's wheel. This is just a little handy dandy at your fingertips, because you're going to learn about all of these core emotions and how they affect behavior and how to navigate these emotions. I'm not going to show you how to control them. I'm going to show you how to navigate them, because emotions will arise. Okay, so you're going to get an interactive form of this, but this is going to be your little cheat sheet when you're on the field. And then you're going to get this little nice handy dandy, another little cheat sheet at your fingertips of all of the different models that we're working with through the program. And this one specifically is the change map. And through the program, we talk a lot about leading through change. So this is one that we review. We're always bringing in the picture every week. And then finally, you're going to get your At the Heart of Leadership, How to Get Results with Emotional Intelligence. This is a book that's going to serve you. You don't have to read it. It's optional reading. However, during the program, this can enhance your experience and enhance your results. And this lives with you post-program. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't stop after eight weeks. You have these tools to support your practice moving forward. Because getting results is about living it every day and getting so comfortable with these new skills that it becomes second nature. And then people can trust that this is part of who you are as a leader and not just something you did for 8 weeks. So we've got 6 spots, 2 are taken, 4 are available. I think 1 might be gone from those 4. So we might be left with 3 right now. Things are starting to move. So if 2023 is the year for you to step into the type of leader that you want to be, to step away from getting caught in the weeds, caught in those day-to-day operations, trying to manage all the people and the conflicts and the the deadlines and keeping people accountable, and you want to step more into coaching your employees, becoming a leader that has lots of influence and people are excited to follow. If you want to lead with a lot more ease and confidence, then this is the program for you. So Kelsey Ann, can you drop in the comments the link to book your consult? Please also send me a DM. I can definitely book you in if there's no space there that's accommodating your schedule. And this is going to be a 30-minute call where we are discussing what you want to achieve, what you'd like to get out of the program, where you're at right now, and the challenges that you're facing as a leader. And then I'll be able to give you some feedback, some expert advice, and then we can look at if this is a fit. And that is a mutual decision that we make. So we have to be a fit for each other. As a coach and a client, you have to be a fit for the group. And the program has to be a fit for your needs. So I'm excited to talk to you. I hope you got lots out of this. So let me know below what you're going to be working on, strategy 1, 2, or 3. My advice is not to implement everything all at once, because one, that will be hard to sustain. So you might do it well for 3 days and not do it. I would offer to you to choose one and come back to it. And as you're getting comfortable with one, add in something else. So which strategy are you going to work on? 1 is focus on experiments and learning. Strategy number 2 is to create space for imagination. Strategy number 3 is to celebrate progress and what's right. Let me know what you are going to be focusing on in Q1 of 2023. And if you want more, let's talk. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.